Hello gamers, and welcome to the final stage of this season's Memory of Chaos. We are doing stage 10, trying to get all of the stars, and this time around we are aided by a buff called Stormquell, which gives an ally 50% more attack for one turn if that character was above 80% HP at the beginning of the turn. So naturally we want to make sure that our characters stay healthy enough at the beginning of each turn, especially our DPS characters, for improved damage. In my experience, the first fight of the two is definitely the harder one. Even though Quantum is the recommended element for this fight, I opted for my Jingyuan combo, simply because there's a lot of ads to deal with and I found erudition characters to work a tiny bit better. I also highly recommend March 7th for this fight because of the Dispel on her shield and because of the ability to freeze enemies with especially her ultimate. Last but not least, if you have two healers, and I hope you do for this Memory of Chaos, I recommend using your better healer for this fight here because there's just a lot of different sources of incoming damage. And a single target healer like for example Natasha might have problems dealing with it. The first wave of this battle is of course nothing too difficult, but you will notice those fish enemies, they will AoE damage your characters, so an AoE healer is very useful here. Starting with the second wave here, I'm already using March 7th ultimate and we are already getting a freeze in every single enemy. You can see how amazing that is, so they each lose one turn. This is especially useful against the boss enemy here, the Orumaton Gatekeeper, because this guy has something called the Sanction mode. And whenever your teammates either use a skill or an ultimate, which, you know, happens pretty often, he's going to increase that Sanction level. And once he hits 100%, he's getting really annoying. He's going to lose all of his weaknesses and he's going to start using two new abilities, which deal a lot of damage and also have a very high chance of imprisoning a character, which makes you basically lose a turn, and that is really painful. He's also going, if that wasn't enough, he's also going to summon those fish enemies as well, so that is just insanely annoying. And you want to make sure that you delay that sanction mode as much as possible. You can either do that by just, you know, quickly breaking him as long as you have the chance to, or by applying some crowd control, like, you know, like imprison him, or what I'm doing here with March most of the time, freezing him. This boss's imprisonment debuff is one of the main reasons I'm running March 7 here in this team, because I'm using her shield to dispel that debuff when it happens to, you know, be cast on one of my teammates. We are also using Luo Cha for the same reason here. I tried to use Natasha first, but she just didn't have enough heal basically to deal with everything that's going on. Like, you want to dispel debuffs, then you want to heal party members, and that's it costs you so many skill points that in the end I just said, yeah, okay, I guess I'll just use the stronger healer with this team, even though this team already has a preservation character. But that's what I have to do to get through here. As I said, I really think this first fight is way more difficult than the second one. But yeah, we'll talk more about that later. Yeah, you can see how useful Luo Cha is in this fight. This automatic heal that he has when someone is low. You know, not just the heal, it's also it's combined with a dispel. And all of that for no skill points at all. And then we didn't even talk about, you know, his field. So he might just be the most broken character in the game right now, to be honest. Anyway, as you can see, we are slowly but surely taking this guy down. I hope you can see how useful it is to have an erudition character here. So whenever this boss is spawning his fish enemy friends, I do not even have to care about them too much, because my Lightning Lord, Jingyuan's Lightning Lord, is taking care of them easily. So now we are pretty close to finishing this second wave and getting into the final most difficult one. What I like to do in these cases is basically, you know, check on my team, maybe farm a bunch of skill points, shield everyone up, remove debuffs, heal everyone up again, you know, basically get us back to full health So we are ready for this next battle. Alright, and here we are, the final wave. We are facing one more of these gatekeepers together with a Guardian Shadow. And just like last time, March 7th is already doing some work here, freezing both of the bosses. The final wave is actually not too much different from the second one, simply because the Guardian Shadow, yes, she's an annoying addition, but to be honest, the Gatekeeper, like, he's so much worse that you are still basically only paying attention to him. Since I am running an erudition setup here, I'm trying to keep the boss's HP bar somewhat even. It doesn't always work, especially if the Guardian Shadow, for example, you know, has her spell up that prevents you from attacking her. But most of the time, to even the HP out, I do want to focus a bit more on the Guardian Shadow. That is because the Gatekeeper does have a lightning weakness, as we've already seen before. And, you know, at some point we are going to break that, which means he's going to take a bunch of damage just from that. So to even it out, we want to attack the Guardian Shadow as often as we can. So here's a nice showcase of March's shield. I'm using that on Tingyuin to not only save her, but also to remove that debuff that she has. And thanks to Luocha's field that is active right now, we are healing up quite quickly again. Thanks to the insane healing that he provides, I'm also able to sometimes ignore whatever the Guardian Shadow does, you know, like... Sometimes she would be like, oh yeah, well don't attack me or I punish you, and I'm just like, yeah, well, I don't give a shit, I have Luocha. But yeah, so the general idea for this fight is whenever I see that Luocha loses his field, I'm going to use the ultimate right after if I can, to get one of the 2 points needed back for the field, and then we can just, you know, either use his skill to get the field back up, or sometimes the enemies will actually help me do that by just getting someone so low that Luocha is auto-healing them, and that also counts for your field. Luckily, those fish enemies are both weak to imaginary and to lightning, so it's really easy for my team to get them broken as well. And you definitely want to get rid of those guys as soon as possible, since their AoE damage, even though it's not a lot of damage, it quickly adds up. Of course, we also always want to keep a shield on March, so she gets focused most of the time, and then this stuff doesn't happen, but... Even if someone else gets focused, thanks to Luocha's auto-heal, it is not too much of an issue, as you can see here. Alright, and I guess by now you guys have a pretty good idea of how I'm trying to deal with these guys. So, before we're taking too long here, let's skip to the end of the battle here. You can see how, even though I tried to put a bit of more pressure on the Guardian Shadow, she is still the last one standing. The Gatekeeper actually died first. And yeah, when that happens, you do not have to worry about anything, since dealing with only one of these Guardian Shadows is pretty trivial. So for the second fight here, I actually went with a pretty dangerous setup. We are not running a tank here, instead I'm running 2 Nihility characters. Seela is my single target DPS, and I'm using Natasha, who is a great character, but she is definitely not as broken as Luocha is. So yeah, this is quite scary. But the whole idea here is that I want to basically speedrun this battle. You see, the problem with Kafka, who we are fighting here, is that I feel like the more time she has, the longer the fight takes, the more difficult it is to basically out-heal her debuffs and her AoE damage. So my idea here is to basically kill her as quickly as possible, not give her that luxury of time, break her toughness gauge as quickly as possible, and of course also delay her turns with Vel's ultimate and skill. So as usual, we are using this first easy wave to farm up our ultimates. I also want to make sure that I keep Seela healthy enough to get this damage bump. Here we go. And I guess it's also a nice idea to get my skill points to 5. This fight is going to be over very quickly if everything works out as I planned. So it is definitely okay to take a bit more time here in the first wave. Okay, so second wave starts. We are using a Welt's ultimate immediately to imprison these enemies. Then I basically just, I just unload everything on the boss here. If possible, I do want to deal with this guy before I need to take care of his ads that he's going to summon. I need to pray a little bit here because I really want Silverwolf to apply quantum weakness on this boss enemy, which is going to make it insanely easy to break his gauge. But there is a chance that we are going to apply physical weakness, but we did not. Okay, so that is great. Even if we did get a different weakness, it wouldn't be the end of the world, of course. We can just reuse Silverwolf's skill in the next turn to hopefully get the weakness we want by then. But we got lucky this time. And now we want to make full use of this quantum weakness to use our Silverwolf and our Sailor to break this guy as quickly as possible. He's almost dead already. That is kind of nice. I'm not sure if we can finish him off with Wolf and Belt here. Probably not. But we can break him at least. So that should be enough for him to die by a Sailor's hand. Wonderful. So see, we didn't really have to deal with the Adsy spawn at all. Just because we had so much damage and we broke his gauge. I do want to do the same thing to Kafka here, but that is obviously going to be a bit more difficult, but let's see. Let's see how we do with this. So I definitely want to take out the ads here. Kafka is not going to resummon any ads, so it is actually nice if you get rid of those. Cool thing about Kafka here with my team setup, by the way, if you look at her weaknesses, you will realize that we can only apply quantum weakness here, because she is already weak to physical and imaginary. So there is no praying involved here. We already know she's going to be weak to quantum. The one thing that can definitely screw my run up, and I cannot really do anything against that, is if Kafka dominates... Okay, dominates Natasha, my healer, but she did not. She dominated Silverwolf. We can deal with that. Domination, by the way, makes it so you lose control over your character and they are just going to auto-attack their teammates. Which is especially unfortunate when it's your healer. But you can of course dispel that if you have someone who can remove debuffs, like my Natasha here. But yeah, if Natasha gets dominated, it's just kind of an instant loss, since no one else on the team can dispel that debuff, and I definitely need my healer here to keep my party healthy. So far, we are looking pretty good here. You can see how much damage we are dealing here. Also getting close to a toughness gauge break again. Yeah, so right here, if I can somehow manage to stay alive until we break Kafka's toughness gauge again, I guess that should be the win. She's dealing a lot of AoE damage though. It is definitely a really tough fight. Okay, so here we broke the gauge and now we are going for the kill. I believe this battle should be over as soon as Seele gets her ultimate. That should be just enough damage to finish it up. Okay, Vel's ultimate is hopefully going to slow her down a bit too. It is. Okay, Natasha gets one more move. It's actually pretty good because she was very low. it's getting scary. This is definitely a scary fight, but okay. One more ultimate heal, and now we are looking healthy again. Okay, domination on Velt. Not too much of an issue. I think this should be it. Yeah, we have no skill point, but auto attack should be enough to get the ultimate. And then, yep, that's it. Okay, so we finished it. The final stage of the Memory of Chaos right now. 25 cycles remaining, so pretty good, pretty fast. I am satisfied. Got all of the stars, all of the rewards unlocked as well. Okay, so I really hope that I had some valuable advice for you guys who are maybe currently struggling. And if not that, I hope that you at least enjoyed seeing me deal with this. So here are my characters. I'm going to quickly show you every single character I used in this fight. Nothing too crazy or insane going on here, as you will see. I am mostly free to play, is what I like to call it at least. To be fully transparent, I am buying the Express Pass tickets, and I also got some Battle Passes. So definitely not completely free to play, for sure, but I'm basically just paying a monthly fee, just like I'm paying, you know, for an MMO like FF14 that I'm playing right now. It's basically the same amount of money, so I can justify it with that. Yeah, one thing I got super lucky with is I pulled Luoja's 5-star light cone out of the current banner. That was an accident actually, because I wanted to go for this light cone here, for Vel's 4-star light cone, good night and sleep well. But accidentally I pulled the 5-star light cone of Luoja, so yeah. That happened, you know, sometimes you can get lucky like that. But yeah, I would still consider myself to be in a range that is definitely reachable by free-to-play players as well. So I hope that especially those people can maybe, you know, catch like 1 or 2 tricks from my videos. Especially because I saw that a lot of videos on YouTube currently, there's like people that have like, you know, like every signature light cone for every single character and insane Eidolon levels, and I felt like maybe this is nice, you know, for the niche of people that just want to play the game normally without spending like hundreds and millions of dollars. And I'm happy that I can show off that even people like us can clear the most difficult content in this game, so hope you guys liked it. If you have any suggestions or like any questions, feel free to post in the comments. I'll be happy to answer every single question, and yeah, for the end of this video, let me just quickly thank you guys, because, you know, I'm a small streamer, I'm a small YouTuber, but I got so many views on those last Honkai Star Rail videos, so I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for that. I promise I'll keep doing my best in the future as well. Have fun with the game, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.